So a few people have been asking me to show this particular comic book, which is really a superhero catalog, but it's in the same exact shape and size as a comic book. It's from 1978, so if you're trying to order anything from this catalog, you're about 40 some years too late, like 45 years. So let's take a look inside of the superhero catalog from 1978. On the front it says, "Join us for Heroes World, fantastic merchandise." So it gives you a little rundown of what you're going to be able to expect to see inside. Now I got the camera angled, and if that bothers anybody, if I try to go any higher, it ends up shaking a lot more because this is a monopod. But let me know in the comments if it is just not going to work for you. So on the left side we have some posters, which of course I could sit here and look at those for a few hours and wonder which one I'd want as a kid. See, when we were a kid, we didn't have eBay, we didn't have the internet, we had this to look at. We had Sears catalogs and, J.C. Penney's and Belk, which is not interesting at all. But they didn't have this many artist interpretation of toys. Let me put it that way, because obviously the toys didn't quite look like this. This is the artist interpretation of the toys that we were to get. Now, for action figures, you can get all of the Star Wars figures. And this, of course, is really beautiful art. I think it's Joe Kubert did most of this art, if not all of the art in this particular magazine / catalog. It says on the front that it's Joe Kubert, who is a very famous artist from the 70s and probably before that, maybe. And then we have over here the prices. So let's see, how much would an action figure cost back then? A Stormtrooper was only $2.79 plus 50 cents shipping and handling. Any 4 figures were $10.49 with $1.25 postage and handling. It's a lot cheaper than they are today. Although, to be honest with you, my first 2 Star Wars figures from this time era was C-3PO and R2-D2, and they were $1.69 regularly. And at Zayre's I got them for $1.49 each, because they were like buy 2 something, I don't know. Micronauts. Now I actually have this one in my room. I had the blue Space Glider, the red Galactic Warrior, the pink version of a Croyer, because it was the closest to red, like in the comic book. Micronauts were my bread and butter as a kid. The 2 favorite things I have from the 70s is not Star Wars figures, although I do love my Star Wars figures, is the Micronauts and then the Mego 8-inch figures. Those are the 2 biggest things for me. And I'm pretty sure Micronauts came out before Star Wars did. But people are always debating that this is just a ripoff of Star Wars. It's not. They came out at pretty much the same time. Then I've seen some of these as a kid. I would actually like to have them, but every time I've ever seen them, even as a kid, their legs were very janky. They were very loose, very Dollar Tree feeling, These were Starfleet. They were supposed to be like rip-offs of Shogun Warriors, to be honest with you. I personally just didn't get them. I remember even playing with a few a friend had, and I was like, no. Their legs are really jinky. Of course, now I would like them. Of course. They're kind of still classic robots, even though they're kind of rip-offs. All right, we have some, let's see, what is this? New for Mego superhero dolls. They're all over 12 inches with fully removable and washable costumes. So I have the Superman now. I didn't have him as a kid. I got him like dirt cheap because he was falling. He's very, very loose with the rubber bands going through him. But I didn't care. He looks so much like the original Christopher Reeve. Oh my gosh, I'm having a hard time remembering now. The original actor from the 1980 Superman, 1978 Superman movie. I know I saw a lot in 5th grade because it came on every night on HBO. Alright, so we got Superman family 12-inch dolls with Wonder Woman. Now, she's not part of Superman's family. She was her own thing. Back in the 70s, Wonder Woman, played by Linda Carter. I'm having brain farts today. Linda Carter was the hit. Everybody loved watching that show. It only lasted for 3 seasons for reasons I cannot tell you. I have no idea. It could have lasted a lot longer. But somebody up there probably got greedy and demanded too much money or something. Who knows? We'll never know what happened with all these TV shows because they were fantastic and they should have kept on going. So there are Superman family figures right here, which I never wanted. I did want Nubia when I was a kid. I had Wonder Woman when I was a kid. I played with her all the time. I wanted Nubia. Never got her. It was hard to find any African-American colored dolls or anybody that wasn't Caucasian. The Batmobile, never found it. Never got the Spider-Man card, but hey, One can dream. One can dream. This was the thing that I also loved. This is my other, actually this came before Micronauts. My very first female figure was Catwoman, and my dad had a fit. He was very upset that I got a female figure. I'm like, really? Really? Do you want me to just have boy figures and that's it? That's stupid. Even as a kid, I knew that was dumb. There's still people that think like that. I had a person in their 20s that contact me on the YouTubes and say, don't you think it's strange, blah, blah. I was like, well, don't you think it's strange, blah, 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 back to him. It's like, you know, I don't know why you're against female figures. But some people are just that way. Hey, so yeah, I would love to have all these in perfect condition now. That'd be awesome. Thankfully, they are starting to put out Migos again, but phew, they're $20 now. Back then, they were like, I don't know, let's see, it was $4.19 plus 50 cents shipping and handling. See, if I can go back in time, I would definitely get Falcon. I've always wanted him. I had Iron Man, Lizard, Catwoman. I wanted Isis, but I never saw her. She was pretty popular back then. I think I had the Thing at one point. Yeah, I had a bunch of these back then. I would love to have more of them, except for Mr. Mistleplate. Didn't care for him. And then the Wayne Foundation, which looks like the Barbie's house back then with the little elevator that goes up and down. I never had that. I've seen this one and this one at a toy store before. Have them, I wouldn't want them. They just, number one, when did they ever drive those vehicles? Number two, I mean, sure, if I had a mansion that can store all this stuff, of course I would want to have it, but you got to think, space is a limitation, and so is money. You want it all, but you ain't got a place to put it all. All right, Spidey's web. I did have a web shooter when I was a kid, and I also had the suction cup thing. Trying to see if there's anything on here at all that are interesting. Spider-Man and Batman straws. That is really strange. Oh, see, I had this right here, and you shot the little suction cup. I'm pretty sure that's the one, the suction cup. The one I had did. I had the one that was like you pushed a button on your wrist and it shot out a suction cup. And they had these little targets you knock down. They're supposed to stick to them, but it never did. Superheroes statues. So they're like little plastic PVC figures, I guess. I bet they're more like those monotone color ones. It says in color. Yeah, but how many colors? Just one? It says color singular. Then we got the Batcave. We got Batman's utility belt. I don't think I would be able to fit one of those now. The Bat boat, the Bat copter, the Bat everything. Walkie-talkie. Oh man, so a radio-controlled Batmobile. To see, there is a difference between remote-controlled and radio-controlled. They are not the same thing. So if you say remote control, that means you're going to have a wire, like a leash attached to it. I found out the hard way. So they got Wonder Woman's utility belt. I didn't know she had a utility belt. So there it is. There's the bat. There's the thing I had. See, you put it on your thing and you pretend shoot it. I thought it had a little release mechanism down here, but I can't remember. I'm pretty sure it did. And we got some giant comic book. Oh, these are puzzles, I think, aren't they? Some of them are puzzles like those. Some more coloring books. Okay, gotcha. I had a giant Wonder Woman coloring books where she had to fight these mole people. I remember I had that one. It was pretty interesting. I wish I could have got the Friends-Zeta stuff, but I'm pretty sure it was something my mom would not let me have. Eat and drink with superheroes. So this is where you get a lot of merchandise with superhero faces all over it. Nowadays, you could just take some stickers and stick it to it if you really want that stuff. I mean, yeah, we have a bunch of those glasses in the house right in there. I don't think anybody wants to see a video of me doing, oh, here's a glass of this, and this was a Smurf glass from, you know, Hardee's. Spider-Man and his pal Snidey. Okay, this is just being silly right at this point. I think this is just an advert for the School of Cartoon and Graphics. Alright, we got board games. So we had different board games for Batman. I'm pretty sure I've seen some of these before. Like in, you know, toy shows and things like that I've been to in the past. Back before the Big C knocked everything out. Deadly Hands of Kung Fu. So we got lots of poster arts. Back in the 70s, the popular posters were the ones that, like, you can turn on this purple light, and it was, call it a black light, but they would, like, glow, and they were all fuzzy and stuff. It's very trippy. I always thought they were like owned by hippies and stuff for some reason. And we're getting into the comic book section and the art of this, the art of that, art portfolios basically. I love the old Fantastic Four covers are just amazing pieces of art. I love this cover too, the Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes. Now a lot of this artwork that's been extremely popular is on plaques that people buy all the time at Ross and Marshalls, places like that now. At least that's where I usually find them. I have a few. I just don't have room for a lot. Uh-oh. Oh no. That's something I probably shouldn't have seen when I was a kid. I think they slipped that one in somehow. Star Wars Specials numbers 1 through 6. 1 through 6 cover the entire first movie. And the really cool thing about 1 through 6 is, when I was a kid, I was like, hey, they got extra story that's not in the movie. It was actually, they took the original script and made the comic books. Somebody said, they thought that they originally had footage of Jabba the Hutt being a skinny humanoid. I was like, I've never seen that footage, but it was definitely in the comic book. He had like a yellow fish face. It was definitely in the comic. I don't know if they ever released the footage of it. It's a good thing to look up on the internet, I guess. I had the original Laserdisc. It did not have that in it. There was nothing about Jabba the Hutt in the original movie whatsoever. In the original, movie. So the Laserdisc is the closest you're going to get to the original one. And when people said Han shot first or Greedo shot first, now let me clarify it for you. Han shot only. Greedo died. He didn't have a chance. So while Greedo was sitting there, he shot him. It was in the story. Why they changed it, I don't like it. I don't like it at all, because Han Solo's redemption throughout the only 3 movies ever made by Star Wars, his redemption story is important to me. Just like Darth Vader's redemption story. Redemption story means that they go from being a villain to a good guy. So they both had these stories where they go from being bad to good, so to speak. Or better, let me put it that way. Sorry, they're still working down here on doing construction with cutting down stuff. I thought they were done for the day. It got kind of quiet. I suppose now there's a missile one overhead. Bombs over Baghdad. Evidently, I live in a war zone. All right, Bionic Woman was a very popular TV show when I was a kid. It was off the cuffs of the $6 Million Man, which people often call Bionic Man. But I watched the very last season of Bionic Man or $6 Million Man, but then I caught most of the Bionic Woman because I was just too young when Bionic Man came on to stay up that late to see it. So I did have a Bionic Woman figure. I still have her. She's out in the building, but her hair is like one big clump. Her arm, forget it. It had this peel away plastic. It's shot to hell. It won't work anymore. I mean, I've seen people will take ways to fix them, but it's fine. Darth Vader lives. May the Force be with you. Oh, maybe I should play this on May the 4th. It's coming up pretty soon. So look out for May the 4th, though. I'll be putting up a lot of videos of Star Wars figures and stuff like that. Not like a ton, but just one every hour, basically, just to kind of keep that theme rolling. See, I would love to have this patch as a kid. Now, in 2nd grade, I did have a Spock shirt. It was like Spock's, and it had the little gold things going across it, but those things washed and they tore off pretty easy. But it did have the emblem. It had like a more scientific looking emblem on that one, on the chest where it's supposed to be. I wore it all the time in 2nd grade. I love that shirt. Yeah. See, I didn't watch the original series when I was a kid. I did watch the cartoon. That's how I knew about Star Trek. All right, and that comes to the end of our book. I was rambling on so you can kind of look at the pages that I wasn't really that interested in because I don't have much to say about school supplies. But hey, although I did have one, not this one, but the one where it had Tarantula with his really sharp toes. I had a spiral bound notebook of that when I was a kid. It wasn't that cover, but again, it was the one with Tarantula on the cover. I think his name's Tarantula. He had a red suit with a bandana going around his head, and he had like these really spiky feet. And that's it. So there's the Chewbacca mask. It's really popular. So what did you think? What are you going to order out of this catalog if you get a time machine? Man, if I got a time machine, I think honestly I would probably order the Starfleet. I got most of the Micronauts still, although I wouldn't mind ordering a fresh batch of them. But those, I've not seen them since. They probably have been destroyed because people, they were so flimsy to begin with that they probably just fell to pieces and they got thrown in the trash. Yeah, I don't know. That's probably the most important thing out of here I would grab if I can go back in my time machine. Oh no, I would definitely get all these in my time machine. I would get my time machine and get every one of these. You know what drives me crazy is Green Lantern was one of my favorite characters as a kid, and they never made a Green Lantern. Oh, I need to do I don't want to do reviews on View stuff, but I did get one at the Walmart the other day. I grabbed it as soon as I saw that baby. It's like, I gotta have Green Lantern. So go in your time machine, go back in time, get something, and tell me what you got. Have a great day.